Hey, what's going on, YouTube Nation? Welcome back to the Project X channel, and thank you for joining us. And to my loyal, what are we up to now? 12s? 12s of subscribers? I mean, I'm getting big. Hey, thanks for the 12 of y'all. Thanks for hanging in there and being patient with me. I know I said things were going to start happening fast, and fast in a lot of ways, but slow on the videos. I tell you, it definitely takes a little bit of time to work in the videos and the editing and all the other things. So that being said, let's catch you up on the garage build series, because that's the subject of today's videos. Since you have been patiently waiting for me to do an update, what I've been doing out here in the garage is, you can see I've got the insulation back here in the wall. I've insulated all the walls, got that part done. You can see my little bit of electrical over there. All the electrical is now complete too. Got all my inside and outside receptacles and switches and whatever else all wired up, so all that's squared away. We're moving on to the next stage now, which is going to be the exhaust. So on the exhaust and supply side of the HVAC, man, I picked up a fan. Let's show you the fan. This is the fan I picked up from Triangle Engineering. It's a 13,640 CFM fan from Triangle Engineering. It works great. I love this thing. I got it all wired up here. Let's go turn it on, and you can hear it run. Over here, this thing's really moving some air, but it's not very loud. I'm really pleased with the noise of the fan. It's about the same volume, decibels. Not much different than my Walmart version little fan. Yeah, it's amazing once you get the chance to Walmart version fan. Big fan. Big fan, $1,000. Little fan, $20. But yeah, they get you once you start getting into these fans. The only reason why I was cut down to $1,000 for the fan is because I ordered it without an explosion-proof motor set up. So I'll show you what we're going to do to correct that though. Turn this guy off. So you see the motor set up right here in the airflow of what the exhaust would be. So what we're going to do is take the motor loose at these bolts, take the whole assembly out off this little mounting pad, and we're going to come out here to the side. We're going to take a shelf, this shelf, and we're going to mount it straight to the side of the unit like this, mounting the motor to the shelf. Then I'll come right here about where just beside those holes and cut a hole in the side of the fan, enough to allow us to resize this belt to go from pulley to new location. And that will save us probably another $1,000 to get an explosion-proof fan. Jeez, are these things expensive. Much more expensive than I had initially planned for. But we got it, and it's going right up there where we have, I'll show you, this is the HVAC wall we're going to build between plenums. Building this wall out of this Johnson Manville foil-faced foam board. All it is just some white foam board, and that'll allow us the division we need between the two spaces of intake and exhaust. So here we are in the overhead of the garage. I've already came in and cleared everything out for the install of the new wall and fan and other modifications we're about to do. But I wanted to share with you how I'm going to run that. Just a basic idea. That's just propped up there, but you can see how that creates the division between the two. And we're going to take the HVAC foil tape and line all the joints and everywhere once we cut and notch everything to fit snugly up against the roof line and create that plenum. We're going to come over here. That's where the soffit is, and we're going to get the perforated soffit in order to make air intakes to come from this way too for the intake. So speaking of the HVAC, let's sit down and go over a basic plan over here on the whiteboard of how we're going to lay this out, because my initial calculations were wrong. There was no way 18 by 24 gable vent was going to be enough air to intake and exhaust out of each end, one each, the air that's going to be required to move 13,000 CFM. So let's switch over and take a look at the whiteboard. So what I have behind me here is the garage paint booth HVAC layout that I've been working on. Kind of give everybody a better idea of how I'm going to do things inside my garage. And maybe it'll work for yours, maybe it won't, but I'm going to do my best I can to turn it more into a paint booth in a garage. So here we go. Like I said, one of the big mistakes I made was first, let's back up and explain what we have going on here. We have a plan view of my garage, and we have a section view taken from right here of my garage. I'll pause here for a second and put in a couple pictures of the garage so that you can see what we're working with. As you can see, it's just a basic 2-car brick garage, and how we're going to make it work into a paint booth. So over here in the plan view, in order to make the air flow, what we're going to do is, these are my ceiling intake filters. From the plan view, you can see them, or section view, you can see them right here. So we're going to have to section off right here the adit, like I was showing you above, and we're going to place the fan right about in the center. In that section, we're going to go and raise the roof right here about 2 feet. We're going to continue the roof line all the way up and move the ridge from here to here, and then bring it back down and put a little knee wall right here, and we're going to install the louvers that will allow the air flow out. This addition to the garage in this area up on the roof, it's going to be about 16 foot long, and we're going to try to work it out so that these are 12 by 12 louvers all the way down. Each 12 by 12 louver, or I'm sorry, 12 by 24 louvers, and each louver should flow right at 1200 CFM. So we stack up 12 of these guys, we should be good to go on our exhaust flow. But to get the intake airflow, what we're going to do is, now that we have that plenum created, and this is our exhaust side, this is our intake side, now both of the 2 gable ends, which are 18 by 24 in size, become intakes. But still, that wasn't enough air. Yeah, you could pull it, but it's going to choke the fan. What I'm going to do is come outside of the garage right here on the overhang. It's not shown, but here it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to take out the soffit that's currently in there and put in the perforated soffit that will allow it to breathe. I'll throw a picture up right here so you can see what I'm talking about. So now that it's able to breathe, how the airflow is going to work. We will have airflow coming in this direction, and it'll get pre-filtered here, and we'll have air up in the gable overhead coming in from each end here. There'll be a filter very similar to the one that you use on an HVAC system. I'm not trying to get too crazy with this filter because it's really just a pre-filter to keep bugs and debris, basic debris out. So the one that'll filter down to the micron of what a typical cheap $6-7 filter will do is how I'm going to size it for the ends. Across here at the end, on this one, what we're going to do is we're just going to buy a long roll of filter, a concertina type filter, and just roll it out the whole length of the front of the garage to create more of an air intake. That'll give us a good pre-filter before it gets to the filters here in the ceiling. And then what we're going to do is run a double filter up in here, and this have a filter feel. Let's try that word again. A ceiling filter. Hey, that's what we're going to put in. We're going to put in a ceiling filter. Then we're also going to add in a tacky filter to go with it, a tacky pre-filter, so that we can get anything coming in before it comes into the paint booth. So that'll bring our airflow from here, and everything will be going down to here. All this will be a negative airflow. Let's see if we can draw that. Yeah, a little negative, something like that. So all the air coming in is considered a negative airflow because it's being pulled. As the air comes in, down, through, it'll get painted, and then once it picks up any of the exhaust and all the overspray, we're going to have the false wall, this exhaust wall. I'll take a minute and I'll come back to that. I'll show you a little bit of footage of it that I've already started building before we end this video. But anyhow, this will come through, the air will come up, it's still at a negative pressure. Up through here, the fan, here's our exhaust fan up in the overhead. We'll continue to pull it until it gets to here. That's where that exhaust wall we're building, and it'll bounce off. Through here, we're going to have one final filter to prevent anything that may come in through the louvers from getting back into the inside of the attic to the garage. But it'll come through here and then out. And then once it gets here, it becomes a positive pressure. Up here, all positive pressure. And what that's going to create for us is essentially a vacuum that's going to draw everything down to the floor in this location, trapping all the dust as low as possible and keeping it from getting airborne. That's the hope. That's the logic behind it. Who knows if it'll work, but I'm going to try. So we're going to get all of this complete. Where we are now is we've gotten the exhaust wall built. We've gotten all the insulation up, and we're ready to start installing the HVAC duct. As we go along that, I'll take you on a journey, fill in a few things, and show you how I fit it up, taped it up, and got it up. And but I won't take you on a complete step-by-step. Unless, down in the comments section, somebody would like to see some more detailed of how I'm doing it. I will videotape it, but I doubt I put a video together of it unless asked. So that being said, moving on, this is the layout. Hopefully this all comes together. I'm going to try to pull it together pretty quick, like I say in every video. It's going to happen, I promise. Trust me, I got a bridge for sale too. And a couple more quick things I forgot to mention when going through that was, one, this guy over here, this vinyl wall where it says below, is below the attic level, and this is what's going to section off this area, which is my workbench paint mix area, from this area. And what's most important about it is because not only is that my mixing area, but my compressor's right here and refrigerated air dryer sits right here. So I have to keep these two separated. The last thing I want to do is start sucking overspray into the compressor and screw things up. So I have the wall set up in the overhead to install this removable vinyl wall, so that each time we're going to paint, we're going to install this vinyl wall, section these two sides off, and prevent air from getting between the two. And when I get to that stage, I'll show you what I have in store for it. It's, I feel, pretty slick design for keeping my garage functional, yet turning it into enough usable area of a paint booth. A few last things to share with you before we wrap the video up. The things I've been working on have been, we have gotten the lights up in the overhead. These are the style lights we'll be using. LED, all enclosed, and they'll be going all over here. Hey, there's the exhaust wall. I don't think I shared the exhaust wall with you. The exhaust wall is a 16-foot long by 8-foot tall wall. We used half of it here is left open. That's where all the filter banks will be installed. You can see here, that's a 16-inch plenum, goes all the way down. I put this plywood on here because I'm going to put a number of shelves and things like that on here, that or racks that can hold the spray guns and other various little things that I'll need inside the paint booth in order to get the magic happening. One of the other new toys that we've picked up that I'm pretty excited about are these Festool sanding machines. So I got two of them at a deal. A friend of mine had them, and he wanted to make a deal and let them go. So here's what we picked up. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Festool, but I don't know if there's a fine sander out there in the market. This one here is the Rotex 125. 125 refers to millimeter. If you do the math, it's a 5-inch disc on it. What's great about these things, it's got the vacuum system. Oh snap. Having to do everything with one hand, I lost everything while I was doing the bathroom project. So many things are misplaced. It had to take me about 3 weeks, but I'll still come across it. But I wasn't going to stop making videos because I couldn't find all my stuff. I'm here for you guys. I want you to know that. But anyhow, let's get back to the Festool. Man, this Festool is impressive. This is the Rotex version of it. And what the Rotex does, it has this function in which, see the little circles? See the big circles? Depending on how large you want the circle to be, or for the DA action, you put the button on that side. So, fine. If you want to cut a hole and rip through it, put it on that big circle and put it on an edge and let it eat. That thing will eat right through steel if you let it. But that is a really, really, really good piece. I'm super happy about it. I probably wouldn't have gotten this had I not stumbled into the deal that I did. Let's go down. I'll show you the other one we got. Let's unlock the handle here. Let's lift the case off. Let's bring you back. Hey, there we are. Let's turn this guy and open it up. This here's the ETS version of the same 125. It's another dual action, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't have the big circle, little circle function. It's just on the little circle all the time. Over here's your variable speed. Here's your vacuum port for hooking up for dust extraction. That's going to be key when it comes to doing some really, really, really fine mirror finishes on paint, because with no dust getting wrapped up in the sandpaper means less scratches in the surface of the paint, means more mirrors. Without the dust extraction, they give you this little bag, but that's not really cutting it. It's okay for maybe a small job, but really what you want is one of the big ones, the full dust extraction. Maybe that's in the future, maybe not. Look up the price of these daggone Festools and you'll understand why I say maybe, maybe not. But super excited to get it. Down here in the bottom is just a whole nother stack of the various sandpaper that goes with the set. We won't take time to open it. Let's lock that back in. Let's take this guy. She locks. These Festools got a pretty cool little pack system. Just set it right on top. Slide it in. Turn the lock. And she's fastened in. Now you come in here. Grab this. And off you go to make the magic happen. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. So that brings you up to date with everything that's been going on with the garage. There's been a lot of things that have been happening behind the scenes, and I didn't want to cover anything up until I had a chance to show you guys what I've been doing and what I was working with and where we were going next. The fan going up, that's going to be the next thing that happens. The fan, the HVAC, and modifying the top of the garage. And that's probably going to start happening in the next week. I didn't want to really do too much till I shared with you guys what my plan was, how I was doing it, and how we were going to accomplish it. And more than anything, I needed a plan because I didn't know what I was doing. Spending money is really easy. I'm getting good at that. But spending money and it goes right the first time is a whole nother challenge. So anyhow, backing up, and we're going to work on this and see if we can't make this thing happen. And I'm going to keep you constantly updated on things, and as we take on, I got a few more things in the works that are in the background, projects that I'm going to start video and filming and bring you on those projects too. So again, thanks for coming along. Please take time to like and subscribe. If you got any questions, please comment below and I'll be glad to help you out best I can. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate your time and talk to you soon.